Good evening and thank you so much for being part of the program. This is Joy Asonye Live and my name is Joy Asonye. It's good to know you are there. So much is going on in the country, especially as we prepare ahead of inauguration. Apart from that, we also have the 10th Assembly Leadership Torso and we'll be commenting on both stories. Well, one of the stories that is making a lot of people rife with excitement and several reaction is that of Wike declaring a public holiday that happened earlier today when he was to inaugurate a flyover and an ultra-modern magistrate court complex. That's another conversation we'll be having on today's edition of the program. And with me to discuss all of this is Comrade Duke Alamboye. He's a regular here on the program. He's the National Coordinator, Green Assembly Initiative, and the National Secretary of the Nigerian Youth Organization. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you very much, Joy, for having me once more.
It's wonderful to have you. It's always a very interesting conversation with you.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. We'll be right back after this short break. When we return, we'll go into the conversation. Stay with us. This is still Joy Asonye Live. Welcome from that short break. Like I said earlier, my name is Joy Asonye and this is Joy Asonye Live. I like to brag a little because my guest, when we went behind the cameras, was making fun of me. But it's my house and my penthouse, so I play as it pleases me. We'll start the conversation with the 10th Assembly Leadership Torso, Duke Alamboye. You like to get under my skin, don't you? But welcome to my show. So,
Joy, thank you for having me. You know, you're known for your mischievous nature, but it's fine. We are up to the task where you come up with those.
I'm a very good host. I'm a wonderful host, and so when you make expressions like this, I just look at you and laugh. I am a good host, and so. Welcome. I'm trying to get you as comfortable as you can be here and Joy Asonye Live. But let's take this conversation seriously to the 10th Assembly. Aspirants hoping to occupy leadership positions in the two chambers of the National Assembly have intensified lobbying their colleagues and their other stakeholders. Unverified reports also have it that the APC have eventually zoned the Senate presidency to the southeast or south. It has also been suggested that the former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, that's Godswill Akpabio, is the anointed candidate for the president-elect, while many members of the National Working Committee do not find that a good option and would rather have a southeasterner, especially for the Senate. According to them, it will bring about national cohesion and equity. Let's start that conversation there. Comrade Duke Alamboye, there's been that clamor for a southeasterner to be seen at least in the top three tiers of government. Do you think that Godswill Akpabio, hypothetically speaking, should he emerge Senate president, for instance, and having the southeasterner maybe a deputy, would that pacify the southeasterner, or would it even be an issue for them? Do you think it will bring that national cohesion, or the country should indeed at this moment look towards its southeasterner?
Well, I'll look at it in two ways. First of all, let me say this and say it clearly. We've seen, I wouldn't want the APC to rely on the present organogram status that the present government has kept on ground. What I mean is that, for instance, the presidency is from the north now, and we had a northern also as the Senate president. So I think what the APC is trying to do is to take back all those appointments that came to national appointments that came to the north down to the south, and in doing that, one could clearly see that the president is from already the southwestern part of the country, and so the Senate presidency is between the south and the southeast. Now you took my mind to one other very close consideration, which is balancing regional sentiments, or what I'll call regional representation in this incoming government. Well, that is also good, but one question I ask myself, must it be about that? Can't we discuss Nigeria?
Without including the regions?
Can't we discuss competence? Now, it's a fantastic idea to say that one of these regions should take it, but if one of these two regions should take it, if one takes it, does it also not mean that the other can take some of that in? The do or die
attitude, right,
to this, what I'll call is mind syndrome, is what disturbs me. If indeed they are two competent senators, presently the two persons parading themselves or at the end of affairs
who are beacons,
beacons to this. I think Oji Uzokalo, who is from the southeast, and then with Senator Akpabio, who is from the south. Very two competent senators, I must tell you, fantastic, and they have their fantastic records for time past. So, but if indeed any of them, the party, whoever that is going to take that decision, takes that decision, and it becomes either of them, I think it should be a farewell play for the other to also take the other position. Be it as it may, I think if you want to really sample my opinion on who should take it, I've clearly said that it microzones to these two regions. But I'm also saying that if any emerges, I think it depends solely on the lobby pattern any of them plays, because in terms of achievements and competence, they are both of equal ranking, and as senators of the old shippings. I've not also seen where the Senate, the working acts of the Senate has said that for you to be a Senate president, you must have been an old or served a senator that have served 2 tenure or so. I've not also seen where that has been traced. The law just stipulated that the members of the Senate, in fact, as they are all coming on board, they are all Senate elects. That is the truth. What they call I'm trying to forget it, that will preside over the House until a Senate president emerges. So there is nowhere in the Constitution, even in their acts, in their code of conduct, where it is stated that you must have done whatever number of years as a senator before you can claim that space. That is only enshrined in the House of Representatives. It is clearly stated in the House of Code of Conduct that you must have done one or twice before you can claim that. But in the Senate, it is open to all senators. So if they've microzone the party and microzone it to the south or southeast or south, I think there are two fantastic players that could lobby very well and then give way. I don't want to see where they are pushing this thing to where tomorrow it will seem like it's an eternal fight, where one will emerge, the other will begin to fight the smooth running of the legislation in the House. So this is what my fears. However, if you place the likes of Akpabio and Oji Uzokalo, I would.
There's also I mean, you said something that was quite interesting. You talked about you shouldn't get to become an ethnic thing. Yes. You should go into competence.
Yes.
So if it's going into competence, let's widen the scope. We have a former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, who is also in the race. We also have from Yobe that the Senate president, who is also, I'm sure, according to speculations, interested in becoming Senate
that
president.
Cannot happen. Why that cannot happen?
Why not? If we are looking past, we're looking past ethnicity now.
No. What I'm saying is that it is obvious that the presidency today is in the south, and it's eminent that the Senate president would also be in the south by way of checkmating where one had been. Presently, we have President Muhammadu Buhari, who is from the north, and also the Senate president is from the north. So, to suit their arrangements, internal arrangements, they are also thinking of shifting those offices that were in the north to the south. Why take the south to the north? Good and fine. If that's what they want to go by, it automatically eliminates those two other persons, Yari and the other guy, who are also very fantastic, and the present Senate president. But at a time like this, they also know that this is the shuffle they have to do. So it is leaving people, the senators in the south and in the southern Nigeria living at the southwest out of it because they are already having the presidency. So it is leaving the senators within the south region and the southeast region to fight for it. But as it may be, maybe due to competence and legislative expertise or experience, it is leaving Senator Uzokalo and Senator Akpabio on board to be considered. So that's what I'm saying. If you place these two men on board, you still have to know that they are very competent personalities when it comes to that level. We want to see a Senate president that will work hand in hand with the president to deliver lawfully the programs, stipulated programs, mandates of the present government. That is what we're looking at. We're not looking at who comes from where and why it should go to whatever place. Again, I want to reiterate that my fear is they shouldn't do this game to an extent that perhaps Akpabio comes on board, Uzokalo will now begin to be in the Senate to sabotage the workings, the good workings.
I mean, we've seen that. We've seen
yes,
that.
We've seen that played. Yes, during Saraki's tenure. So this is what I don't really want. And it has a way it slew down so many programs of the president. So the way they are going, I'm beginning to see that there will be bitterness at the end of the day. So they should be able to curtail whatever they are doing to competence in the House.
Right.
We have two members from the South competing for this. Who are we looking at that can deliver appropriately, that can project this forthcoming assembly to its heights, doing better than where they are? I think this should be the projection, and on that line they will be able to scrutinize those two persons, investigate their activities, and then come up with one person to put as the Senate president.
Okay, now apart from that, the lobbying and having the political parties who are represented in the House, apart from them coming together to say, you know what, we want it zoned to a particular place and give structure maybe to who emerges leader, somebody who probably would hold the tenets of that political party or ideology or action plan, whatever the case may be. My question would be, are you finding it interesting or out of place, really, that you see these aspirants run to the president, run to the president-elect? I mean, we saw pictures of the former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, running to the president to say, and then the speech after that meeting was that I was there to tell him I am interested to run. Is it out of place when primarily the leadership should be determined by members of the House?
Okay, you see, this is also not too good, but in our Nigerian context, it will also seemingly be that Akpabio feels entitled. Reasons being, one, I think he gave up his presidential aspirations to
he was first to stand
aside. So he is feeling that
set the precedent.
So he is feeling that he should be compensated with that position. Secondly, I think he is someone that has also stood firm since he came to the APC to support whatever the APC is doing. Thirdly, is a good and sound legislator to the best of my knowledge, whom had understood governance at execution level, also governance at legislative level. He has been governor for 8 years. In fact, one of the finest governors we had at the time. Then also came to occupy ministerial appointments, and that has given him a broad knowledge and a current and broader knowledge than Oji Uzokalo, because what we're looking at are people that are acquainted with the present situation. Let me just
you put him beside Oji Uzokalo.
Yes, in my own opinion, because
the only other capacity he has worked,
he has
administered, hasn't worked,
is ministerial appointment. And I can tell you that when you're a minister, you attend meetings that are broader, that are national based. You attend meetings that where you hear problem issues of other regions and other states, like the FEC meeting.
Okay,
somebody that has been to the FEC meeting is very fit enough to be Senate president or president, because by way of their interactions and presentations, they know the issues, security issues, developmental issues, social issues of the nation. They have a physical idea and projections of what is needed. So if such person turns out to be the Senate president of our country, I think it will be ideologically will be sound enough to work or to project laws, facilitate laws that will enhance the activities of the present government. Be that as it may, right. for a just cause, we also, for instance, let me give you an instance. I was going to say, the minister of, with all apologies, the minister of information we have today, that's Lai Mohammed, that was compensated based on his antecedents or participation in the Buhari, President Muhammad Buhari's campaign.
Is that where you're going?
Yes, and it was just compensated with that because we saw some level of aggression he used on the opposition and all of that. But today, let us recite that ministry. It's one of the poorest ministry in terms of performance.
Okay, so let's get to the Niger Delta ministry. I'd like to know, in spite or having been exposed to the Federal
I will take you there.
Council,
I'll take you there.
Right, I would like to get there.
Akpabio has emerged as Akpabio's performance to let's elevate a narrative too, because they were all both ministers. As minister of the Niger Delta, we've enjoyed relative peace in the Niger Delta. I can assure you that it's on record since the emergence of this administration, the Niger Delta has been peaceful. Yes,
that's in spite of all the
what are the issues? What are the
corruption allegations?
What are the corruption allegations?
There's also several projects.
The NDDC saga, the NDDC probe. So what are the results? So these are the issues. It's quite easy to lay allegations.
Right.
One other thing is also to ensure that you bring those things to factual being. So these are. I'm not
just like
I am not
in
also.
other sectors.
I am not also saying. I'm not also
before.
saying that. I'm also saying that Senator Akpabio does not have his own lapses. But what I'm saying here is someone that is good enough, someone that is
positioned right.
No. Someone that is current enough. That's the language I want to use. Current enough and have that will. See, to lead the Senate also needs some very good of capacity, ability, and willingness.
Has he proven that?
So this is what we are looking at. And if you place Uzokalo and Senator Godswill Akpabio, I would want to prefer Godswill Akpabio, not because I'm from Southside, but because of his antecedents. Someone that is free to communicate, that wants to know the aspiration of the people, and that is why while he was governor, he did fantastically well because he listens to the needs of the people and act accordingly. So these are the track records both of them have kept, and then one of them must surely take the lead. So I think what is most necessary for this conditions that they did is not to necessarily meeting the president-elect. When you meet the president-elect and he begins to intervene in the affairs of the legislation, it also you also have to now pay him back. You become a stooge to him when you emerge. The lobby should end, for goodness sake, in the house where you convince members of your capability and ability to lead the legislation. Once you go to the president-elect, which is the executive arm of government, and then he influences your acceptance and emergence in the legislation as their leader, you will also be bent naturally to do his whims and caprices, even if they are not good enough for national development.
Interest, right?
So this is where I do not like such visit. But to go and meet a leader to say, look, I'm aspiring to become the Senate president, just as anybody would do, there's nothing wrong about it. But we know the Nigerian content. And once you go and do that, the meaning and the implication of it is that you also want the blessings of the president, and then president-elect rather, and then he will go further to begin to convincing party senators to ensure that you become his favorite candidate this time around, not projecting the interest of Nigerians. Candidates should learn how to, mostly at the legislation, learn how to end their lobby within their colleagues, so that when they emerge for the sensibility of the legislation, and then see that how they can privately and uninterruptedly work for the progress of the. So in such way, they will be able to tell the presidency whenever they are violating the execution of a particular act or particular law, or as the case may be. Also concentrate on their oversight functions. What is lacking presently in this this is what assembly,
the 10th
assembly is also oversight functions, because they are all with due respect like stooges in the hands of the government, because the executive, they were all elected. The executive determine who becomes what at all the in-house leadership role. So nobody is talking. Nobody is doing anything. Even when it is glaringly.
What would you like to see? Because
when it is
in the
glaringly.
beginning of in the beginning, I asked in the beginning of this conversation, I asked what would be national cohesion? Would it be that we should look for a candidate who would be worthy of the Senate presidency from the East? You of all people know how the country is at the moment, where we have the agitations from the Southeast for presidency was thwarted after the election, the general elections that was conducted, and the conversation was rife as to how long they have been trying to aspire. It feels like they've been crying out that they feel marginalized. Do you think it is the APC should once again microzone this for national cohesion to the Southeast?
Which I tactically also answered you, but let me come direct to it.
I would rather you do it very openly.
Like in developed countries, they don't discuss region. They discuss.
Obviously, we are not there yet, because we are seeing a region that is crying out.
They discuss the nation. When an American wants to talk about his country, he said his country. It does not even tell you where it's from. We only see that all these things in Africa. That they contested to become presidents of this country, and they lost. It's not anybody's doing. I'm not also saying that that's also a yardstick, or it now makes it so mandatory that because they lost presidency, they will have to compensate them with the Senate president. It's not given.
Right.
You fight to take it. Good 18, the party, in its wisdom, has said that it should go to the South. And in the South again, it has been microzoned to looking at the South or the Southeast. So respective candidates or aspirants from that region should do their good lobby. Lobby, not financial inducement to their members, but
even though we've seen,
I'm not aware about that.
We read about the EFCC and ICPC crying out that there's dollarization in this lobbying.
Okay, I don't know. This is, we're in Nigeria. I don't know what content they are using, but the content I'm interested in is giving value. How you will lead the 11th Senate to achieve, 10th Assembly to achieve its weight. There was a time when the Piouses, the Wambaras, you knew that was when they were men. That was when the development even ended in this country. So because they were so up to their game, we want to see those kind of capable leaders manage. So I agree with you. There should be that cohesion that should exist within the legislation to critically look at it. If the legislation feels that, okay, looking at the spite of political activities in the country, we should come together to say, even though we have microzone, let us see that it goes to the east. So be it. If they also come up with themselves to say, okay, we are here. If with what we should be concerned with is who can lead us, we don't mind where any of them is coming from, but we want to be delivering. We want this 10th Assembly to deliver on the mandate of the incoming government. So this is what we want to look at. So whichever of these two persons that emerges, then they can go into their vote and deliver somebody. I don't want to believe that it should be an Eastern thing or it should be a South thing. What I want to believe that it should be a national issue. Right. What we are looking at is who will be Nigeria's Senate president. We're not looking at who will be South Senate president, nor Southeastern Senate president. We're looking at a figure that will come and see Nigeria as an entity and make laws that will propel projects, that will propel enabling ground for growth, internal growth. Because once the legislation is getting it wrong, once the legislation is weak, once the legislation is puppet enough, the executive rights on the nation.
Let's go back to the hypothetical emergence of former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, should he emerge, for instance? This is somebody who, in your words earlier, you find him entitled. He has been the first. He was the first person who stepped aside, rather, for the president-elect, and fortunately for him, the president-elect did emerge. So, do you think in that relationship, we want an assembly that is cordial with the executive arm and not necessarily, and not necessarily a rubber stamp assembly?
Yes.
Right. So do you think with this relationship that he already enjoys with the executive, that's the president-elect, we would see a strong leadership should he emerge, where he can speak truth to power to say, you know what, we cannot sign this, we will not accept this, and it will be one that will keep the executive in check?
Firstly, I don't know whose regime was that, when Senator Saraki was
that relationship was very sour.
The president was
Jonathan.
Jonathan. You saw how, if there's a word uncordial, how they were not pals.
They were at loggerheads at all times.
At all time, and that is to show that the Senate president at all times must be in conformity with what the government is saying. Even in this President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, we've seen where lots of sabotage, internal sabotage, is going on. It has dampened the good will and the good aspirations of the president himself. Not being proactive was his problem.
I wish I could ask the instance where there was sabotage.
Now, I can go on and on now.
Just one.
There are many. They are going. I don't want to waste my time and interest on that. They are going. I don't want to discuss the Muhammadu Buhari's administration anymore. We are looking ahead. The look ahead is who becomes, in your question, who becomes the Senate president that will deliver. Presently, Akpabio was so sensible enough to also reason that the presidency should come from the southwest. And so therefore he forfeited his designs to becoming the president of the country. In his thoughts, if I am in his thoughts, would be the man ahead, the man that is contesting with, has what it takes to execute, the will and capacity to execute. That is one. Secondly, he has also seen that there should be that strong will for the party to win. I'm not saying that he's not popular enough, but if he stand himself and Asiwaju stand a better ground to win a general election than himself. Thirdly, he has also seen that he would rather position himself to where it would be meaningfully useful to the nation. So having considered that, he went to run for senatorial election.
Right. And
struggled to win. Now he is a senator, and he has come up again to say, I want to be at the helm of affairs of this country. I have what it takes. If Senator Akpabio has not worked in tandem with his speaker while he was governor, he wouldn't have also delivered all he delivered. So I think his sensibility is still playing out here.
I think that's a different
it's not a different
scenario entirely, because when you look at the governors and the state houses of assembly, where the state houses of assembly
what gives you the impression that
you're talking about?
What gives you the impression that the president-elect cannot support a puppet and then control him? That's where you're going to. The governors control their speakers.
Very often, yes.
So this is national politics, and who told you that can also happen?
We've seen it happen. People
are insinuating that the present Senate president is a stooge to President Muhammadu Buhari, but are you sure that is absolutely correct? That's not correct.
Well, before we let this particular topic go, I would like to ask, do you think that one of the reasons why he feels so entitled is that it is probably what he was promised before he decided to, in the nick of time, step aside for the president-elect?
You just said that there was no promise. I think the president-elect is a strong-willed person, and from his body language, you can see that he is prepared to rule the nation. And we hope that God grant him such grace.
Right.
So I don't think we want to play with an important institution as the legislation. So whatever party he has or is having, today is president-elect. He no more needs the mercy of anybody. So you could see him speak and act that way. His body language is showing. We've had instances where he has told president governors that, look, it's not going to be business as usual. So I don't think if he does not enjoy a privilege or a co-working relationship with Senator Akpabio, he will want him to allow him to visit him. He visited him. He has not said anything contrary to the visit.
Okay.
Akpabio only went to tell the president-elect of his aspiration. The president has not verbally or whatever medium said that he is endorsing him, because to start with, it's not even his right to endorse him. The legislation is there to choose who becomes the leader.
And yet we hear body languages and all of that, but this is where we would call for a break. When we return, we'll be talking about Rivers State. Governor Wike declared a public holiday as president-elect visit. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back from that. This is still Joy Asonye Live, where we've been discussing the 10th Assembly and how the lobbying has intensified. Now we're moving the conversation to Rivers State, where Governor Wike declared today, Wednesday, the 3rd of May, a public holiday to enable the people of Rivers State receive the president-elect, rousingly, according to the statement that was issued to journalists. Shops and business premises along Rumola to Rumokota roads in Obiokpo local government remained closed, asking labor unions and security agencies to comply with the closure. Meanwhile, the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised during the inauguration of the Rumokota flyover and an ultra-modern magistrate court complex in Port Harcourt, promised not to marginalize any region but will leave legacies across the country. Now, a lot of conversations and reactions followed the announcement of a public holiday, and my guest, who is Duke Alamboye, will get to tell us, do you think it was necessary to declare a public holiday because the president-elect is coming to the state to inaugurate just a flyover and this complex?
Well, Joy, there's a saying that give honor to whom honor is due.
Why did I think you will go that route?
Yes, and presently, if in the statement of the governor of Rivers State, this is the first, having been elected as a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, this is the first assignment the president-elect is going to carry out, and in a very sensitive region and a very sensitive state. I and you know what conspired during the elections and the intrigues and what played on. And this is for the president to have even assented to coming to Port Harcourt to commission a project done by an opposition governor. That's so
interesting. You call Wike, Governor Wike.
Yes, Governor Wike is of the PDP.
Right.
And the president-elect of the APC.
Before you go ahead, can I just quickly mention, because I am a little confused, and I'm sure my viewers are as confused as I am right now. Governor Wike had said that the Rivers people would deliver the state to who he decides.
Okay.
He refused to do a press conference as he promised during the time to say who that was. And when he was accosted as to who is Rivers people, who do you want Rivers people to vote, he said he has told them, the Rivers people no.
Okay.
Now, fast forward to the elections. We saw what happened.
What happened?
The president
Rivers people voted with their choice.
Yes,
what?
And it seemed to be
said by the governor. The governor said, "Listen, I don't know why we misunderstand this thing." The governor said,
in my misunderstanding,
Governor Wike said, he's going to tell Rivers people who to vote. Thank you, without mentioning any candidate's name. But perceptionally, we knew that he had issues with his presidential candidate.
Atiku. He was not a perception. He was very outright
with it. So, in whose interest would that statement lie on? I told you that one thing I kept emphasizing throughout the elections, that I told you that it's going to be a very spectacular election where People,
anyway, Rivers State was delivered to
where people, yes, where
Bola
people will
Ahmed
vote,
Tinubu.
where people will but tax themselves to vote for candidates they believe can deliver, irrespective of party. So when we see our leaders also toe that line, it shows that our deliverables, our thoughts, our mindset about how democracy should go were not wrong. That is why you saw in some quarters, some leaders took different routes from the other routes. Not when their party fields candidates that are not strong enough, by way of imposing them or by way of selection or whatever, and they feel that this is not too good enough for their party. The law, the present electoral law has made it open that people should use their own wisdom to select leaders, to vote for leaders that will come in place. So believe me, I'm not a party executive that will crucify the governor for what he's done.
The party,
the party should take that to explain. So where I'm going is that for the basis of what happened today, it is conspicuous and well known to Nigerians that Asiwaju, the president-elect, is an APC man coming to a PDP state. And the governor, in his wisdom, to give honor to the man he felt he supported that should be the president of the country. And the man that has visited him, Abidisho, to say, look, election had gone, this is time to deliver the promises of democracy. And I've called on Nigerians to support. Can I make my statement?
Just after you've included what I want to say.
Yes.
While he was there, he also thanked the governor. According to the president-elect, the governor's support ensured his emergence as president-elect.
Yeah, we are saying the same thing. I said, Abidisho, before he's coming to Port Harcourt, the governor of Rivers State had also visited him,
right,
and attended to press interview to tell them that, look, election is
over.
I'm here. So let us rally round the president to deliver the dividends of democracy.
Well, I need
now,
to
bringing such man again to his state, 2 ways to give him honor. He declared a public holiday. Rivers people should come out to receive this man. Don't forget. This is a way, this is the best, one of the best way you can attract the attention of the president to achieve the dividends of democracy. When the president feels honored in a particular state, when the president feels very restful, very at home in a particular state, it gives the sensibility. And don't forget,
so if I'm correct,
Rivers State is the pride of the South.
Who made Rivers State the pride of the South?
Of course, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Rivers State is the pride of the South. So don't forget, when the president is coming,
but I want to ask.
Go back to history to know what happened to Akintola when they visited, when they visited Ibadan, where he was killed.
Right.
So Wike, being the chief security officer of the state, you don't know the information at his fingertips to have declared the public holiday, so that everybody will be in checkmate, so that there will be peace while this president-elect come in peace and leave the state in peace. What wrong has that? What wrong has he done in that? What wrong has he also done to say, look, this is we are opposition. We are opposition party, and the president who is an opposition party member man is coming to our state. Let us safeguard him. Let us come out in mass to welcome him and give him a befitting, like it is what traditional appears, our heritage, so that when he goes, he lives with the impression that we are set. And indeed, we delivered him. This man worked tooth and nail to make sure that this president emerges. So what wrong has he done? If the state were into confusion, yes, and Governor Asonye had declared a public holiday, would anybody have been challenging?
Comrade Duke, you just said he's opposition.
Yes,
but in the ways that
yes, so the governor is still a PDP man.
If you just let me land with this, you called him a PDP man.
Yes,
and several PDP people do not support. Of course, when you look at what transpired, the fact that he was a integrity group, or the G5 as he called them, they went against the political party. What would you say his standing is at the moment with the PDP, if you want to call him a PDP member? I mean, where does he stand? Where does Governor Wike stand? Is he APC or PDP? We have seen him romance more with the APC presidential candidate than he has with his party.
He has, Governor Wike is having 32 assembly members that stood ran election under the PDP, they are all presently elected.
I'm not sure why we're giving him credit for that.
I'm coming, madam. The same governor.
That's an election that INEC conducted. He didn't conduct that election.
I am telling you, the party of which they all ran and won the elections. How many senators in Rivers State? PDP. How many House of Rep members in Rivers State? PDP. The governor elect in Rivers State? PDP.
Do you think
the only problem you have,
right,
or you have with this Wike, that he didn't support the presidential candidate? Out of 51 candidates, he supported 50.
Now my
and
question
today is being crucified for not supporting. I don't want to know whatever the issues.
I'm asking because you said something about him being PDP. Of course, you just mentioned something that I find irrelevant.
What makes somebody
because he did not conduct
as he denounced the PDP before? As Governor Wike come out to denounce the PDP before?
I'm just asking, what is his standing?
He has his full standing. He is a PDP member at all colors.
Right.
That today a president has emerged, and as a Nigerian is romancing with the president to ensure it drags dividends of democracy to his state. Is that a problem? To ensure that he is in cordiality with the federal government that is coming on board, is that a problem to the state?
Of course, not at all.
Not at all.
But do you think it was necessary to call on labor unions and the security agencies to ensure that this public holiday businesses indeed complied to the closure? Don't you think it's too much of a stick?
All odds in this 2023 election, all odds was against this president-elect.
Of course.
Of course. And you also know that when an environment is unsafe,
it's unsafe.
If anything happens to, I said, when an environment is unsafe, what I mean is that if anything, I kept saying, we do not have the information the governor is having to have declared, for instance, that it is for security's sake. We don't have the information the president is having. The only way you can most time checkmate people's activities in genuinity or in pretense is when you lock them up, or when you have them to disassociate themselves from gathering. It is a spectacular project, a spectacular program that the first assignment the president is coming to conduct as president-elect in Nigeria is that of Rivers State. So in totality, I appreciate and congratulate the governor to have also deemed it fit to include Rivers people in that project, asking them to tool down whatever they are doing, to come out en masse, to showcase their heritage, to welcome this president that will be carried out his first ceremonial assignment in the country.
That's beautiful.
So I haven't seen anything wrong.
You seem very, very
so you can see the turnout. You can see the turnout in the state.
Why then is the APC, I mean the owners of this president-elect, unhappy with the president's visit? In fact, let me read something that the spokesperson or the publicity secretary of the party, Mr. Darlington Nwauju said. He says that the governor should play less divisive politics and exercise restraint in planting seeds of discord among opposition political parties. That's the quote from part of what he said.
Yes.
And my question would be, why do you think that the APC
what is politics?
In the state? No, I want to.
No,
let me land.
Okay, yeah, but let me allow you to land.
Yes. Why do you think that they feel spited? Because I, for one, cannot see a situation like that in the state. If you ask me now, and I would say the leader of the party, the APC, is Governor Amechi. Are you going to disagree?
The leader of the APC in Rivers State. Yes, that is a right honorable Rotimi Amechi. Yes,
right honorable Rotimi Amechi. Yes. I should think that. And if the president-elect is coming, we expected Rotimi Amechi to have arranged that. And you see, when there is all of this,
let me take
why
you on
do you
that.
think the APC, first of all, is not happy with this?
I don't know. I can't sit down here.
Why do you think
I'm coming. Sorry, please.
Seeds of discord.
Why? How is it a seed of discord? We've seen in this Wike's dispensation, we've seen him invited opposition governors to the state to commission projects. The the president-elect rather, is not coming to the state for his party's function. They have neither also invited him to any function in the party. As I speak with you, they've not even congratulated him after his victory. Let us keep all those things aside. This is a governor that has said, looking at my exit, one of the last projects I have done, it is imperative and to be nice that I bring this president-elect to my state. My state, in quote, means including all the citizens, river citizens in River State. The meeting was not discriminatory. APC people are free to come there. That is why I say Rivers people. It did not say PDP people should go on holidays. It gave the freedom for participation to all Rivers people. It said, close your doors. Come ye out. Like Jesus Christ did. Come all of you out. Let us welcome this. So the question which should be asked is that why did the APC people emphasize themselves from these activities? Of course. So these are the issues. So it's embarrassing when they will come out. Their president is coming. No, sorry, please. Their president, the president of their party,
right,
elect of their party, is coming to River State on an invitation. Where did they also gather themselves, knowing that there's even a free day, a free day for all persons day? Where did they gather? Sorry, madam. Madam, sorry. Where did they also gather themselves? Come out en masse to say this is our president, and then they were shot out. There is no, see, you don't keep yourself aback.
Alamboye.
Sorry, you don't keep yourself aback.
Is going, but
you don't keep yourself aback and then cry foul. Joy, for instance, your husband is coming to Port Harcourt. You are in Port Harcourt. Your husband is coming for duties, and then you don't keep your hands to fold and say, "Oh, it is because he's coming to see his boss in Port Harcourt. I will not go and see him." What do you blame? You have to be blamed. You're already aware your husband is coming. You have his phone contact. You have every avenue to. In fact, there was open door called holiday.
Okay. Would you have said that bad blood that is already exists between the APC and the PDP not long ago when they were approaching the tribunal? We saw what happened in front of INEC's office. In fact, the APC gubernatorial candidate cried that he was almost lynched, he was almost killed. Really, was his words.
Yes.
That's how bad the blood is.
Yes.
Would you have said that maybe we should have there should have been some sort of reconciliatory visit first, where the APC will feel like, okay, this is some olive branch being extended to.
Good, you have landed. This is
I'm asking now. Your blood is really hot. Is it a reverse thing? Now, would you have said that there should be that reconciliatory first before this coming with the president-elect to the state? Because I don't see an Amechi standing beside Wike in this gathering, be it just to receive the president-elect.
Good politics is progressive. Joy, this is where some persons are not getting it right. I told you, you cannot compare the scenario of what happened in INEC, where they want to go and get through certified copies,
right,
where it's a tussle, to when a governor sat down, Governor Wike sat down, look at the states, having known that, yes, there's this big disparity between parties. And if I don't give freedom to every citizen in this state, knowing that the man coming,
right,
the president-elect coming, is not of my party. He has party members. So therefore, let me open up the space for everybody to participate. Yes, so we can call on all Rivers people, all colors of heritage, traditional display. He called everybody out. So at what instance is the APC members in River State calling it a seed of discord? He declared, it is not to say that the governor is inviting the president-elect to the state alone. He declared a public holiday wherein everybody is expected to come as one indivisible state to welcome the president that will attract tomorrow in his exit. In this time, this same governor we are talking about will be exiting powers, but that he has laid a precedent to attract the benbenefits.
What benefit? I mean, are you telling me that for the states that
we are aware. 8 years of the PDP administration led by President Muhammad Buhari. Tell me one benefit River State got.
I'm not sure what you mean. Did you not get the derivation that is meant for you? Did you not get the allocations that?
I can derivation.
What other benefit are you expecting the Rivers people to have?
Where are the roads constructed in the north, constructed in the south?
The federal roads.
Yes. We can did all the federal roads in River State.
He's still lobbying to get this bill back.
Of course, he will lobby. Lobby is even the best language to use. Lobby is even the best language to use.
What other benefit are you hoping that the president should particularly give to River State?
There are many.
I would like to know.
What are the federal government projects cited in River State in the past 8 years?
You have a
what are the developments?
Of
course. So I think you should invite the minister to ask him. That is it the president's
I'm not his
spokesman.
If no
Joy, when I said my statement, I didn't say the president. I said the administration. When I mean administration, it encompasses every other person's. So I'm asking the same question.
Yes.
To say that this President Muhammad Buhari's administration, what is one developmental project apart from even the dead what they call Ogoni cleanup? That up to today, I don't see the day of light.
It would be unfair to say that so much is going on with the Ogoni cleanup. But I'm happy that you're quite happy or excited about the developments. Before I let you go, do you think we should have governors moving forward who just announce public holiday and stifle businesses? River State is a very vibrant place. It's not just a civil service state. It is one vibrant with businesses. There's the oil and gas business, that is really booming in the.
So when COVID came, the state died.
But we saw what happened.
Nothing happened.
There was unprecedented loss.
Joy, to close business for 16 hours. Has nothing to do with the closure was just from
8 to 3 p.m.
to 3 p.m.
Yes.
So we shouldn't be sentimental about these things. There are businesses that could still run.
This is in a state where people are.
And when you say closure of those businesses, it was even the civil servants. The private sectors still got their operations.
Businesses were all closed down. But Comrade Alamboye, the National Secretary, Nigerian Youth Organization, and the National Coordinator, Green Assembly Initiative. Like I said in the beginning, it's always interesting to have you a part of the Joy Asonye Live. Thank you for being part of the program.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Right. Okay, we've run out of time. This is where we will close the curtains on Joy Asonye Live. Do have a wonderful day and be rest assured we'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.